Today, let's talk about how NRS can fix Mortal Kombat 12. Now, I know Mortal Kombat 12 been announced. All your favorite Mortal Kombat NRS content creators have made like a billion videos already about like Mortal Kombat 12. I'm just gonna make one before the game gets like shown, and then it's full reigns after I see the game, right? But before the game gets shown, I just have one video to make, and I think it'll be a comprehensive like video of everything I think before we actually see the game. So I'm gonna break this down into parts. I've seen a lot of videos where people are talking about what they want from MK12, but realistically, I think there are some things that NRS needs to do for this game to be better than MK11 and even better than MKX. First, let's start with story. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and try to predict or guess which direction they're gonna go in story-wise with Mortal Kombat 12. I think that's kind of honestly impossible at this point. But there's little aspects of the story that I would like to see adjusted when it comes to Mortal Kombat 12. Now, Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat X story-wise, I thought they were pretty okay. I thought they were solid. I thought they were good, right? Everybody doesn't feel this way, and I think it mostly comes from the inconsistencies with the current stories versus the stories we were told in the past, right? We have to think like MK9 was kind of a reboot of the series, so some of this stuff is like an entirely new retelling or told from an entirely new viewpoint. So older MK fans are looking at this and they're like, well, I learned this story from Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Deadly Alliance, Deception. Like, that's where their Mortal Kombat knowledge comes from. So a lot of Mortal Kombat fans are having a hard time grasping character changes, why people were doing this in this new story. Story-wise, I think they're okay, but I think there are some adjustments that can be made to make these better. For one, I think we can expand on the Mortal Kombat universe, right? We know there's different realms, right? But in these games, we heavily focus on Earth Realm, Nether Realm, and Outworld, right? Those are the three realms we focus on. We talk about Adenia, but we don't ever really see Adenia, right? We never see, in these latest games, we don't see Chaos Realm at all, and we don't see Order Realm at all. And I think there's place for expansion there where we can go and see these other realms, right? We know they're there. I think, especially lore-wise, there's so many characters, there's so much other lore, Mortal Kombat-wise, that it feels like kind of a missed opportunity in the newer games to where we aren't like, we're kind of ignoring that 3D era. The 3D era of Mortal Kombat is kind of getting ignored right now. Like, yes, we'll get like Kenshi in the game, or we'll get some 3D era characters, but story-wise, those things are kind of ignored. So if I'm in RS, I'm taking a look at this and I'm like, okay, we've touched on like basically Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, right? And 4, right? We basically have touched on those already. I don't know story-wise where MK11 and MKX fall. Everything's kind of like muddled right now. I would say if I had to guess, those fall sometime before Deadly Alliance. Definitely before Deception, because Onaga isn't even a thought at this point. So it's definitely before Deception. I would assume it's sometime before Deadly Alliance or sometime in the middle. I'm just going to assume it's before Deadly Alliance or sometime after Deadly Alliance, but not after Deception. Story-wise. So I think there's a chance to where we can expand this world and bring more characters in. I think that's kind of a given at this point, and I think that's something that will really help the story. 2, I think the chapter system works, right? The chapter system works for MK9, it works for MKX, and it works for MK11. Now, I know everybody wants this vast open world like we got in Mortal Kombat Deception. And look, I'm on the same train. I would also like this vastly open world that we could traverse and we could talk to characters. I would love that also. I don't know how realistic it is for us to get that, but if they aren't able to give us this fully like open world that we can travel, I still think you can do the chapters, right? But I would also like to do it like when you're doing the chapters, let us roam some, right? You don't have to make the game completely free roam, right? I don't need to have the full capacity to just go anywhere I want to go. But within that chapter, let me run around, right? Don't let me just watch a cutscene. You can still have your cutscenes, right? You can have me go to the cutscenes, right? And view those cutscenes. You can have that, right? You can still essentially have your chapter modes with your high level cinematic stories, right? But in between, like let me traverse to those areas. Let me see let me see how depressing everything is, right? Because Mortal Kombat is just, it was pure depression, bro. Like, nothing good really happens if you think about it in Mortal Kombat, okay? Nothing happy ever happens. Let me traverse like through these worlds, right? Let's say if I have to go to another realm, right? And I have to go, I know the next chapter is, I don't know, I gotta go talk to Quan Chi or whatever. I don't know, I'm just making something up, right? Let me walk through another realm. Let me have a chance to interact with some of those NetherRealm characters, some of those demons. Let me get little side missions, right? So not completely open world, but open world enough to where it changes the story mode and adds a little more to it, right? Like, I feel like we're getting to a point with this story mode where people are gonna start getting burnt out of like the actual like chapters. I think the chapters work and they're fine, right? And I think they were fine at the time. But I think story-wise, like, fighting game stories are going to start to evolve and get better. And at that, there was a point where NRS stories were like peak stories, right? They're peak fighting game stories. And I still think they're the best. But you have to look at like how Street Fighter 6 is going down their route with the World Tour mode, which looks great. You have to wonder, okay, like NRS, like, can we get something a little bit different now? Like I said, chapters aren't bad, but we can definitely have a little bit more. Let's talk about gameplay. Now, gameplay is probably the biggest thing, right? Now, I've already beat this horse to death when it comes to gameplay. I've already talked about Mortal Kombat 11 gameplay. Mortal Kombat 11 gameplay is not perfect. MKX's gameplay is far from perfect also. And I would like for us to stop acting like MKX is the epitome of gameplay and we just want MKX gameplay directly back, okay? Let's stop that narrative. We don't, okay? We want some aspects of MK11's gameplay to come back, yes, right? But let's not act like we just completely want MKX's gameplay. The game is broken, all right? Same with MK9. That game is MK9 is even more broken, right? And we're at a point where fighting games just can't be that broken anymore, okay? We cannot have fighting games that are that level of broken anymore. Not in this current era of fighting games. No company is going to put, especially with patches. Like, yeah, I think when like patches wasn't huge when MK9 was out. They were there, but like half of the stuff in that game is like ridiculous. MKX still is broken in some ways, right? It obviously got more patches than MK9, but let's be real. It's fun, but it's broken, right? So here's the thing. Here's my three biggest problems when it comes to MK11's gameplay. First problem, how you deal with stuff defensively. The defensive meter, breakaway rolls, all of that sucks. Let's just say that. Now, MK11 does do something defensively that I like and would like in MK12, which is the perfect block system. Obviously, I would like it adjusted in a different way depending on the style of game that MK12 is, but I actually like the perfect block system in MK11. You get awarded for blocking properly and you get to punish somebody after, so you get a reward for actually blocking right. Like, instead of, I feel like blocking in NRS games is slick brain dead, let's be real. Like, compared to other fighting games, NRS games are so much easier to block in. So adding that additional perfect block component kind of makes it a little bit like it adds some skill level to blocking in this game, and I think it'll be perfect for MK11 or MK12. Get rid of breakaway. Breakaway sucks. We already know this. I said this before. If you're gonna have a system like that, just bring back breakers. Just bring back breakers. I think we should entirely get rid of that stamina system, the offensive and defensive meter. I don't think we need that. Just go back to one, just go back to 1 meter, right? I like the offensive, the problem, there was multiple problems with the offensive and defensive meter. There were some points in the game where I felt like I would get punished more for trying to do a combo than my opponent, which was weird because of how the offensive and defensive meter worked. It just didn't work, okay? that system, I get where they were trying to go with that, but I don't want to see that return to MK12. The biggest problem with MK11 is the lack of combo expression. This is everybody's biggest problem. People like to they think it's speed, right? People like to be like, well, this game is so slow and it's not fast. If this game had good combo expression, a lot of those issues people wouldn't have, right? If this game allowed you to do cool stuff, then I don't think people would hate it as much. The problem is the defensive, and this is why I say with this game, like MK11, it all works together, right? So the lack of combo expression leads directly into the defensive options, and the defensive options directly lead into the meter system. So all three of these things work together, and it just doesn't click together. So NRS's goal with this game was to make it kind of like MK2, which if that's what they wanted, they got it, because this is definitely like a modern day MK2. But to be honest, MK2 isn't the most fun game for new NRS players. Like, but let's be real, people want to do cool stuff in fighting games, right? At least for me, I play fighting games to do cool stuff. I want to do cool stuff where I'm like, dang, like if I do, let's say I'm playing Melina. First of all, this is the worst. Let me say, as a Melina fan, let me just start this out. This is the worst version of Melina in any Mortal Kombat game. This does not feel like Melina at all. You cannot do half of the stuff Melina normally can do. Like, yes, you can borrow sucks in this game. She is so bad in this game. But okay, that has nothing to do. But let's just say, for example, I'm playing Melina, right? I do I do ball roll. Let's say ball roll for some reason combos. Now I have like all of these different routes in my head. I'm like, okay, I can do this, or I can do this, and this can lead into this. And I have all of these branching combo paths where it's a lot, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I could just do this, right? In MK11, it feels like all of those branches, like, let's say MKX, you probably got like 10 branches. MK11, you probably got like 3, and people only use like 2 because one of them are really bad. So I think that's the biggest thing for me personally. I want more combo expression. Get rid of the defensive mechanics. Just go back to the old stuff. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much gameplay wise that could be fixed. Speed wise, I do want the game a little bit faster. I don't need the game to be crazy fast, right? Okay, I don't need it to be insane levels of fast. I do want it to be faster, right? But I think for me, combo expression is more important. Brutality should come back. Brutalities are great, but please fix the thing where like you do a brutality and it just like slows down, and it's you can't end the round with brutalities like you do. That sucks. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about gameplay wise, because I feel like I can make an hour-long video about what I really want gameplay wise. But I think my biggest thing is I just want combo expression, man. I just want to be able to do cool stuff with characters I like. Like, there's characters I really like. Obviously, like, there's Mortal Kombat characters that aren't known for being super combo fiends, right? And that's fine. But I feel like every character should be able to do something cool. And when I'm playing Mortal Kombat 11, I don't feel like I'm doing anything cool. I'm just like, okay, even when I'm winning, right? When I'm winning, I'm like, okay, but I didn't do nothing cool. I'd rather do something cool and lose than win and be lame. Like, I don't know. That's just me personally. I just want to be able to do cool stuff in Mortal Kombat 12. That's it. Next one will be small, but I feel like this is important. Let's be real here. Mortal Kombat music sucks. All right. My favorite Mortal Kombat tracks come from the Mortal Kombat movie back in the day. Like, the first Mortal Kombat movie. The Mortal Kombat game soundtracks suck, dude. Mortal Kombat 11 has a horrible soundtrack. Mortal Kombat X has a horrible soundtrack. Even MK9 got a mediocre soundtrack. Mortal Kombat isn't known for having great music. You can't name me, outside of the Mortal Kombat movie, 5 solid Mortal Kombat songs. You just can't. I really want NRS to do something about the music. I don't want no outsourced music from DJ Dimitri, whoever the hell he was. I don't want to hear no 21 Savage Real, I don't want that. Please, NRS, for the love of God, go hire Mick Gordon to do your music. Please, bro. Oh, I just want a good like, there's never a time that I'm like, bro, I really feel like bumping that Mortal Kombat soundtrack. Like, outside of the movie, like, bro, that Reptile soundtrack is fire from the movie. And obviously the Mortal, like, that's fire. Those are 2 fire tracks. But the rest of, bro, buds. Let's be real here. Please, hire Mick Gordon to do something with this soundtrack for Mortal Kombat 12. I cannot ask this enough. We deserve some good music. I'm so sick of hearing trash track after trash track after trash track. Get some solid music, please. The final thing I want to talk about is the Mortal Kombat 12 roster. Here's the thing about the roster. People will never be satisfied with the roster because there will always be people that don't make it. All right. I'm actually somebody who's going to be realistic about the roster. First of all, you need new characters. You just can't have old Mortal Kombat characters all the time. All right. They will introduce new characters. It's going to happen. You can't be mad every time a fighting game introduces a new character. It will happen. It will continue to happen. All right. And sometimes it will replace one of your favorite characters. Do I think Mortal Kombat 11 has the perfect roster? Absolutely not. Do I think Mortal Kombat X has the perfect roster? Absolutely not. The best Mortal Kombat roster so far has been MK9. But you got to think, MK9 was a reboot, right? They weren't interested in adding new characters. It wasn't a progression of story. It was a retelling of a story that you already knew, right? So all of your favorite MK characters are there. These future games, telling a different story, which means different characters, which is okay. I do think MK11 has a better roster than MKX, which is surprising because MK11 is missing my favorite character. Well, my second, well, it's tied for first, okay? It's missing Reptile, which is a character I really like to play, and it's also missing Ermac, and it's also missing Robot. So MK11 is missing quite a bit of characters. But I think overall, I still like this roster a bit more than MKX's, right? So I think the thing here is, right, I don't think the combat kids are coming back for now. If they do, I think Takeda is probably the biggest. People really like Takeda. I think everybody really likes Takeda. I think roster-wise, you aren't gonna satisfy everybody. I think Aaron Black is done. I think Devora's done. Kodo is done, right? I think a lot of these characters aren't coming back. Gears is done. Collector might not be done. I'm not completely sold that Collector isn't coming back, right? Because Collector has been around for a while, right? He's always been there. We just never seen him, right? So Collector might actually come back. She's done for sure. Rain is going to be DLC. Y'all know how this game go. Fusion, I think might be coming back. Shang is never done. I don't think Shao Kahn is coming back next game. I think Quan Chi is coming back. And I think Onaga might be coming back. Nightwolf might come back. Frost might come back. Johnny and Sonya always coming back. Jax is the same. Like, I do think some of these characters are... I think a good chunk of these characters are coming back. Like, I think obviously Liu Kang is solidified. Scorpion Sub are solidified. Raiden is up in the air. I can't imagine a Mortal Kombat game without Raiden, but you know, let's say that. Kung Lao, I think, is pretty solidified. Katana. Jade and Melina solidified because Melina fans gonna go crazy. She don't get another goddamn game at launch. But anyway, a lot of these characters solidify. I do think we see some returning characters. I do think Reptile comes back. I do think Ermac comes back. The robots, I think, obviously come back. I think Smoke comes back. I don't know about Noob coming back. I would like Noob to come back. I don't know if I said Quan Chi, but I think Quan Chi is coming back. I think we're getting some more of those 3D era characters. I think Havoc is making it into the base roster. I don't know outside of Havoc. I know some people say they want Natara. She could be cool. Bravado could be cool. I don't know, man. Please don't bring Jarek. That's all I gotta say. Anybody but Jarek. Slick think Tanya might come back, but that's up in the air too. I think a lot of characters that you guys like will come back. I think MK12 might have the strongest roster. Obviously, I think there'll be new characters in there too, which is completely fine as long as they play fine. Out of these the newest characters in MK11, let's go with my favorite character, newest character in MKX. That was it. What's crazy is I don't think I played a lot of the new characters. I think my favorite actually MKX might have been Ferrator, which is crazy. In terms of new characters, it might have been Ferrator or Takeda. MK11, I don't got to think about it. My favorite new character is Collector. I think Collector is the most fun of the new characters for me. I don't even know who's a new character in this game. Geras, Cetrion, Collector. Are those the only like new to the MK story characters? Not new characters in general, because you know, guest characters. Let me talk about guest characters too. Guest characters aren't gonna stop. They will never stop. Guest characters sell. So if you're thinking, oh no, they're not gonna put guest, or I don't want guest characters, they're not gonna put guest characters in the game, you're wrong. Guest characters will be there, and they're never gonna stop. Also with characters, I do want to talk about the grinding. Like, you know what? I'm glad we're on characters. I should have talked about this in gameplay, but I didn't. But let's get to it in characters. Gameplay wise, let's talk about variation. You know what? This is a good place to talk about with characters. Variation system. Let's get rid of it. I like the variation system in MKX, right? I actually enjoyed the MKX variation system because essentially what you had was 3 different characters, right? You had 3 different characters. Not all of them was valuable. So the problem with MKX's variation system is there were some variations that nobody played. And that's the issue that they were trying to remedy. They were basically like, okay, we spent time on making these variations that nobody plays. So to offset this, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create like a bunch of different variation moves and let people create their own variation. Here's the thing. People shouldn't be allowed to do nothing, all right? I'm just gonna be honest, all right? Sometimes you give people a little bit too much freedom. The problem with the variation move system is sometimes, like, obviously you got competitive band moves, right? You got moves that don't go together. You got moves that like are kind of necessary for a character to play how they want to play, but at the same time it might not be the funnest move, right? Like, you're like, okay, well, for my character to be good, they absolutely need this, right? And if they don't have that, the character's not good, but the move itself sucks, right? Like, it's not fun to have. So you have that problem. The weird problem that they created for themselves is they tied, so everybody hated breakaway. So in order to fix breakaway, they gave characters anti-breakaway moves. Now, some people got the moves in the base set, which is how everybody should have got it. But then there were some characters that had the move tied to specific variation moves, which means now you have to give up another special move in order to gain a defensive mechanic that you should already have in your base moves. So that created another problem. So in order to deal with this, just get rid of variations. I know if you do the math, and I know people always say, if you do the math, technically you got more moves in the variation system than you did with the base system. Fair, right? If your goal is to have more moves, then fine. Personally, I'm at a point where I don't even need 1,000 special moves, right? I just want characters to just be complete versions of themselves, where I don't have to make a choice about which moves they have. Just give me the moves. If it's moves I don't like, if it's moves that don't cater to my playstyle, that's fine. I will just play another character. And everybody should have that mindset. If your character is missing a move, okay, and you just like, okay, I just can't play this character anymore, that's completely fine. I don't want to have to make a choice anymore about picking between special moves, legacy special moves that my characters have always had, right? I don't want to have to make a choice between making a move good or having a move at all. So I don't want to have to make that choice anymore. I think we should completely get rid of the variation system. I'm at a point where just try to make the characters as complete as possible. Give Sub-Zero, if you want to make Sub-Zero completely disgusting, give him his freaking ice clone, give him his stupid little ice ball, just give him his normal ice ball. Okay, no having the EX to do all, give him his normal ice ball, give him his normal ice clone, let him be a defensive annoyance, right? Because let's be real, Sub-Zero is annoying as hell, right? Defensively, like, but you freeze, you do ice ball, your opponent like, bro, how do I get in besides on that, okay? Let me have to deal with that problem, okay? Anyway, I think it's time for us to get rid of the variation system. It was good while it lasted. I think MK11 kind of soured a lot of us on variation system, but I'm gonna be real, even if they continued the same way as if MK11 had the same variation system as MKX, we would still have a problem with it. So let's just get rid of variations. I think those are the biggest things I wanted to cover in this video when it comes to MK12. I think gameplay overhaul, please get some good music, maybe a story overhaul. Actually, no, there is one more thing I want to talk about. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Like I said, I'm only making one of these videos. So everything I think about MK12 is going to be in this video. And then obviously I'm not making another MK12 video until we get a date, a time where we see the game. So let's talk about cosmetics. I almost forgot. I don't have a problem with giving us the ability to adjust how the characters look. I actually prefer it, right? I prefer us to get all of these cosmetics to adjust how the characters look, because you see some cool costumes, you see cool stuff, and that's cool. The problem I have with, and this started in Injustice 2, okay? Injustice 2 and MK11 are so bad about this. The grind to get cosmetics, the grind to get brutalities are absolutely ridiculous, okay? So I'm not just speaking about cosmetics too, because you also have to grind for brutalities in MK11, some of which I still don't have, which is insane with the amount I've played MK11, okay? MKX, their brutality is fine. Yeah, I don't even think you needed to, quote me if I'm wrong, but did you actually need to unlock the brutalities to do them? Wasn't it, or was that just for fatalities? I don't know. I don't remember how it worked in MKX. But in MK11, it is ridiculous to get brutalities. I think the way to fix this system, like if NRS's goal, right, is to have people grind for these things, because it seems like their goal is to make people play the game as long as possible, which is why there's a grinding aspect. What you gotta think about the backfire is, if I have to grind too much, I'm just gonna stop playing. And it's not even a problem of me grinding, right? It's the problem of not knowing what you're grinding for. A lot of times, a lot of this stuff is just random, right? I don't even know what I'm gonna get. Let's just say, I think the way this should work, let's say I want a specific Melina like mask, right? Or I want a specific Melina brutality. When I go into her like customization section, it should tell me exactly what I need to do. And it should be character specific. It should not be some, oh, you need to go in the Living Tower. It should not be nothing stupid like that, okay? Because the Living Towers change every day. Sometimes I can't even get the things that I want. It should be something character specific. Okay, if you want this brutality, you need to hit an opponent with size 10 times. Boom, brutality unlocked. If you want this match, you need to do Melina's fatality 5 times. Boom. Grinds like that are better because A, it's not crazy, right? It's not a crazy like 5 and 10, like it's not nothing crazy. And 2, I know what I'm working for. I'm not working for something random. I'm not working off an RNG system. The crypt is cool, right? Problem with the crypt is like, everything ain't even in a crit. So I think the better way to go about that is to have it character specific for each character. If I want to unlock a new Scorpion torso or whatever, I don't know, something random. Okay, I need to do the spear 20 times or something, total window or a online match or in a regular match. You know, simple stuff like that, where it's still a grind that'll make people play the game, but it's not like overbearing to the point where I'm like, bro, I hate this. So that's my final thoughts about what I think about that, because that system is ridiculous right now. It is so grindy, and it started in Injustice 2. Injustice 2 started that, and it sucks. I hate the gear system in Injustice 2. There's still masks and stuff I don't have in that game. So please stop trying to make me grind in fighting games. The point of a fighting game is not for me to grind hours trying to get the cool stuff. Please stop. Please stop. That makes me not want to grind at all, especially as somebody who just, I'll be like, okay, I'm ready to play. Like, I ain't trying to grind for all that. But that's my thoughts completely on MK12. I feel like I gave realistic things that can change instead of just being like, well, I want Onaga to be fighting Quan Chi in the basement. Like, you know, unrealistic stuff. I actually think Onaga is going to be the pre-order bonus. Don't quote me on that. It could be Kintaro. I think Kintaro might be a safer bet, but it seems like the trend is like big husky characters is the pre-order bonus. We had Goro, and now we have Shao Kahn, and I'm banking that it's probably gonna be Kintaro or Onaga as your next big bulky pre-order bonus, but who knows? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I'm excited for this game. Obviously, I've been waiting for years, okay, very, very long time, longer than I've ever been having to wait for a game, but we know it's coming out this year. It's gonna be shown this year, so I'm just excited to see it. Let me know which characters you want to see. What do you want to see change? I know gameplay is gonna be the biggest one. Very quickly, characters that aren't making it back from this roster, in my personal opinion, is Cassie. Let me just go down the rows real fast. Cassie, Frost has a chance. Jackie, Cabal has a chance. I'm gonna say Jade might not make it. Scarlet, I don't think making it. Aaron Black, I don't think making it. Devora has a chance, but I don't think she's making it either. Koga Khan, absolutely not. I don't think Shiva coming back. Gears, no. Collector has a chance. I don't know if Sindel is actually gonna come back either. Molina's 100% making it. Rain gonna be DLC, and I think Fusion might make it too. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, pass class, don't eat ass. I'm out this bitch.